Shark attacks appear to be making more headlines than ever in recent years. While such incidents are rare, when they do occur, the outcome is rarely pleasant. While shark attacks on surfers and deep-sea explorers are less frequent, it is, however, not a common occurrence. Concerns have recently arisen after sharks killed 7 people in Australia in October of this year, according to CNN. The last time the country saw such casualties was in 1934. So far this year, there have been 21 shark attacks around the world, which is normal and consistent with previous years. The distinction is in the fatality rate. According to some experts, this could be considered bad luck since year-to-year figures are always fluctuating. However, there is another potential culprit, the climate crisis. Because of the rise in ocean temperatures, ecosystems are being destroyed and forced to adapt. Fish are migrating to previously unknown areas. The behaviors of various species are changing. Sharks follow their prey and move closer to famous shores as the marine world changes. Welcome to Underwater Central, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most heinous shark attacks ever documented. Number 10. Oldest known shark attack. A shark mauled a man to death in waters near western Japan about 3,000 years ago. The encounter left a trail of horrifying scars across the man's skeleton, and parts of his body were never found. The person's bones, which were excavated from a communal burial ground at the Tsukumo archaeological site in Okayama Prefecture, were found to have 790 traumatic injuries, including cuts, punctures, fractures from blunt force, and deep crisscrossing gouges, with sharp, 7-shaped edges. Such wounds are consistent with shark attacks, making this the world's oldest recorded instance of a shark attack on a human, about 1,000 years older than the previous record holder. The man's injuries were so severe that he would have died from blood loss and shock, according to the study's authors. He was most likely alive when he was attacked, as the distribution of skeletal damage differed from shark damage patterns on scavenged corpse. The widespread trauma to the skeleton also suggests that the victim remained in the sea for some period of time sufficient to allow the shark to feed on the body after death, according to the researchers who published their findings in the August 2021 issue of the Journal of Archaeological Science reports. Number 9. Rodney Fox. Rodney Fox, then 13, was defending his Australian spearfishing title when a great white shark grabbed him in the middle and dragged him through the water upside down in 1953. The predator let him go as he gouged his eyes, but he quickly returned and attacked again. Fox jammed his arm down the beast's throat and then yanked it free, ripping the flesh from his arm. The shark let him go and then came back for a third time, dragging Fox along the ocean floor. After nearly drowning, the adolescent was rescued and dragged aboard a nearby boat, his ribcage, lungs, and upper stomach exposed. His main arteries miraculously remained intact, and he survived 4 hours of surgery and 360 stitches. Number 8. Robert Pamperin. Robert Pamperin was diving for sea snails off the coast of La Jolla Cove in California in June 1959, when his companion, Gerald Leher, heard him scream for help. Leher turned around to see his friend standing upright and unusually high in the water, his mask missing. Leher swam closer, watching Pamperin slowly vanish into the crimson waves, and diving beneath the surface, he saw his friend being dragged to the seabed by the jaws of a 22-foot shark. The US Coast Guard discovered only a single swim fin while searching for his remains in the water. Number 7. Randall Fry. Cliff Zimmerman and his friend Randall Fry were diving for abalone off the coast of California in 2004 when tragedy struck. Zimmerman said he turned away from Fry for a millisecond before hearing a whooshing sound and feeling the water move as if a boat passed by. He turned around to see Fry gone and a shark fin briefly surfacing before the surrounding water turned red. Zimmerman swam for his life, while his companion's severed head and body were discovered separately the next day. Number 6. Shirley Ann Durdin. Shirley Ann Durdin was diving for scallops in Australia's Peak Bay in 1985 when she was attacked by a great white shark about 20 feet long. The mighty fish ripped the 33-year-old in half in its first strike, as her husband and 4 children stood on the shore in horror. When rescuers arrived, all that was left of her was her headless torso floating in the water. Within moments, the shark reappeared and devoured it as well. Number 5. Terrence Manuel. Terrence Manuel's right leg was severed by a 10-foot white pointer in 1974 while attempting to scramble into a boat driven by his friend, John Talbot. The 26-year-old was diving for sea snails in 30 feet of water when he burst through the surface and yelled, "Shark!" Talbot rushed to his friend's aid but was unable to stop the attack and was forced to watch Manuel bleed to death in the water. Number 4. USS Indianapolis Shark Attack. More than 900 men were abandoned to the mercies of the Pacific Ocean sharks when their American warship, the USS Indianapolis, was torpedoed in two by Japanese torpedoes in July 1945. When rescuers arrived 4 days later, they discovered 579 men dead, many of whom had been chewed to pieces by circling sharks. Woody James, one of only 316 survivors, said, "There were sharks everywhere, hundreds of them. Everything would be quiet until you heard someone scream, and you'd know a shark had taken him." Number 3. Pacific Coast Attacks. 4 shark attacks occurred off the Pacific coast of the United States over a 15-day period in 1984, beginning with the gruesome death of a 28-year-old abalone diver. Chris Raham, Omar Conger's companion, saw a great white shark rear up out of the water behind him while he was resting vertically in the water and looking out to sea. It grabbed him from behind and violently shook him before pulling him under the water, Raham later told researchers. The shark then resurfaced and let go of Conger, swimming straight at him. Raham dragged his friend onto their dive mat and swam ashore, but Conger drowned. Number 2. Jersey Shore Attacks. During the deadly heat wave of 1916, 4 people were killed in a series of shark attacks off the coast of New Jersey in the United States. The first victim, 25-year-old Charles Van Sant, died after sharks tore the flesh off his thigh during an early evening swim. Charles Bruder, 27, was killed 5 days later when a shark tore into his abdomen and severed his legs as he swam off the Spring Lake beach. 6 days later, on July 12, the final attacks occurred in Matawan Creek. Lester Stillwell, a 12-year-old local boy, was dragged underwater while splashing around in the creek with his friends. Stanley Fisher, 24, dove into the water looking for Stillwell, but was attacked by a shark and died as a result. 2 days later, the 12-year-old's old body washed up about 150 feet upstream. Although great white sharks are responsible for the majority of attacks off the coast of California, the chances of encountering one remains extremely remote for any swimmer. Number 1. Barry Wilson. In 1952, while swimming near Love's Point on the California coast, 17-year-old Barry Wilson was seen by witnesses jerking violently from side to side. The young tuba player screamed again, and witnesses saw a shark rearing out of the water, ready to attack him from behind and drag him under. Wilson reappeared, screaming and flailing his arms in a pool of blood. 5 other swimmers fought for 30 minutes to drag him back to the beach through the rough surf, but he died before they arrived. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment below. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload a new video.